All right, gardeners, it's my lower back's favorite time of year, mulch season. Whenever you're thinking about adding mulch, it's always such a question, how much mulch do I need? They sell them in bags that are labeled in cubic feet. You get lists of cubic yards. What does all this jargon mean? How much do you need in your garden this year? So I wanted to make a video showing you guys exactly how to figure that out so you can get the right amount delivered to your house, or you can pick up the right number of bags and bring them home.
Hey, I'm Ronnie, and if you like gorgeous plants like my Uncle Devin and I, it would be really cool if you would subscribe, like, and share this video.
So the first thing you need to do is decide where you want the mulch, or topsoil, or compost, or what have you. This video, cubic yard is the same for mulch as it is for compost or topsoil. So this video is for, all of those sort of applications. So for me, I have this nice garden bed right here, and the first thing that we need to do is measure it out. So if you have a nice long measuring tape like this, then awesome. But if not, just walk it out and get a good estimate. It's always better to get a little bit of extra mulch or a little extra compost than you necessarily need, rather than a little bit less. So a good estimation that overestimates a little bit is a-okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to go walk out the distance of my bed. Okay, so it's about 8 steps deep and about 10 steps wide. So I'm a golfer and I was trained, 1 step is 1 yard, 1 step is about 3 feet. So the first thing that we need to do is remember 8 steps that way is about, we'll just round up to 25, and then 10 steps that way we will say is 30 feet across. Okay, so now that we have the numbers, let's go crunch them and figure out how much mulch we need to cover this bed this season. The first thing that we should remember is that 1 cubic yard is 27 feet cubed, because a cubic yard, 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet, 3 times 3 times 3 is 27 feet cubed. Okay, so now how do we convert that into something that makes sense for ourselves? Okay, so we found the length, we have the width, we have to determine the height. The height meaning how many inches or how many feet of thickness of topsoil or mulch do we want. And then what we will do is divide that number by 27, and that will show us how many yards we need. Okay? So as you remember, the width of my garden bed was 30 feet, the length was 24 feet. What about the height? How many inches of mulch do I want? So generally we'll talk about 1 to 4 inches. I like to opt for a good 2-inch layer every spring, and I think that is a pretty good amount. So here I've done the conversions for you. We need to remember that we need to get that height in the denominator of feet. We need to have the height in feet. So 1 inch is equivalent to 0.083 feet, 2 inches, 0.167 feet, etc., etc. This is a simple conversion. You do 1 divided by 12, and that gives you that because there are 12 inches in a foot, okay? So I'm going to go for a 2-inch height. So on my other paper, let's do the math. Okay, so I need to do a multiplication. 30 times 24 feet times 0.167, because 2 inches is 0.167 feet. All right, let me do the calculation. That's 120.24. All right, we'll write that down. 120.24. Now remember, we need to divide that by 27. You'll remember from our equation earlier, you divide by 27 because we want to get it into a cubic yard, which is a way that it is sold. Okay? 120.24 divided by 27 equals 4.453. That's how many yards of mulch that I'm going to need for that one section right there. So what do you do if your space is irregularly shaped like many garden beds? The best thing to do is to kind of segment them into areas where you can kind of create straighter lines. So what I would do, I would cut across here and measure from here to the end there, and then I would measure that one separately, add them together, and that's going to give me the best estimate. So what do you do if you have a small space and you don't need a whole yard of mulch and you just want to buy a few bags of mulch? All right, let's take an example. Let's say I just wanted to cover this area with mulch. I'll measure it out. So this little section right here is around 4 foot across and 10 foot deep. About 40 square feet, 10 times 4. Now if we want to do that at 10 times 4, and let's say we want to do a 3-inch layer. So we remember 3 divided by 12 is 0.25. So we'll do 10 times 4 times 0.25. That is going to equal 10 cubic feet. Much less than a yard of mulch, which is 27 cubic feet. So we just need to get a few bags. And generally a bag of mulch is going to be found in a 2 cubic foot bag. So I can get 10 bags of mulch and cover this small section right here, and it will be just perfect. So really the main takeaway is you need to measure how long and how wide of an area that you're trying to cover and how deep you want, 1, 2, 3, or 4 inches. Varies depending on your needs and depending on your desires. Whether it's topsoil, compost, or mulch, they all have different depths that are a good amount. So once you have those 3 elements figured out, you can easily determine how many cubic feet or cubic yards you really need to get delivered or brought to your home, to your garden. Hopefully that was helpful and not too mathematical, and you can use that to fill your bed with the right mix of soils, compost, and mulches to get your plants looking healthy this spring. All right, I'll catch you later. Ciao.